They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I actually agree. Zohran shared his true colors today, and it is wild to see just how fast the mask came off. The mayor, who's all about affordability, supposedly, just jetted off to Puerto Rico for a 6-day stay at a resort. And in that same moment, in a shocking twist, New York Governor Kathy Hochul delivered a lethal blow that will destroy Mondani's entire economic agenda in one interview. And of course, while all this is happening, our government is still shut down because Democrats are not budging. And some Senate Republicans are even starting to turn on each other. And I want us to talk about it. So welcome back to the Adam C. Moreno Show. Please like, subscribe. This is going to be a good one. All right, so let's jump right in. So Joe Mondani, the affordability mayor, is caught red-handed when he went to Puerto Rico, and people are not happy about it. One frustrated person says Joe Mondani's first order of business as mayor-elect was a jet setting to Puerto Rico for a 6-day stay at the ritzy Caribe Hilton in San Juan. Average nightly rate, if you're wondering, $700 to $800 a night. Suckers. This is crazy because I just think nothing says affordability like $800 stays, right? And what's bothering to me too is like I know why New Yorkers are fleeing the city. I was expecting that. I think everyone's expecting that. But I wasn't expecting Zohran Mondani to flee the city. Okay, this feels a little fast. All right, caught me off guard. Zohran, you have no excuses. You should be in New York. Zohran does have bigger problems though, because Kathy Hochul, New York governor, who's also there, was just ambushed by parent Mondani supporters who were chanting "tax the rich" while she was speaking. All right, but look at what she says. She fires back immediately. Check this out.
Hear you, but I'm the type of person, the more you push me, the more I'm not going to do what you want. Okay? So little lesson to all.
That is so unbelievable. And I don't know how many times she needs to say it, but I guess as many times as people need to hear it, because Kathy has said this time and again, that the rich are already getting taxed insanely, and they provide a huge chunk of the budget, so she does not want them to leave. This is common sense, people. But hey, I guess common sense isn't so common these days. But Kathy Hochul did not waste any time. She doubled down on this instantly, delivering a lethal blow to Mondani's entire economic agenda, plan, everything that he wants his socialistic values to contribute to. She just detonated it. Look at this.
Elections, and they will be there next November. Not just in New York City, but all across New York, where Democrats won all over New York State.
So can I ask you about these policies where you differ? Because it's going to matter for New York State and for your bid to remain governor. And when you talked again about distinguishing yourself in terms of your views from those of Mondani and yourself as a moderate, right? His agenda is incredibly ambitious. It is, as he has described it, a democratic socialist agenda. Free childcare, free buses, rent freeze. The list goes on. I talked to him on Monday night. He said to me he hasn't wavered 1 millimeter on raising taxes on New York City's wealthiest residents to pay for some of that. Now, Governor, you have said repeatedly that you would not raise taxes. You said, quote, "I've said there's no new income taxes." Do you stand by that promise?
Yes. Again, what I find so fascinating is all this conversation about how I'm continuing to leave New York State. I'm the one putting money back in people's pockets and cutting middle-class taxes, as I've done, and finding ways to support child care. These are areas where I'm aligned with Zohran Mondani. And we'll work on this and build more housing so people can have a roof over their heads in New York City.
Translation, no chance. Zip, zero, nada. Okay, she is not going to do it. It is ridiculous. And we actually knew this before Zohran was elected. All right. So he is going to be the one who has to answer to the people of New York, because as much as he likes to talk about corrupt politicians and not being one of them, he is beginning to sound a whole lot like one of them. It is just insane. And also some more nightmare news. Look at this. This just got resurfaced today from Leading Report. Newly resurfaced records reveal that Zohran Mondani's mayoral campaign took illegal foreign donations per the New York Post. This report went mega viral today. Look at that. And I do have an update here. Check it out. According to the New York Post, these donations were refunded. They totaled to about $9,000. But it does make you wonder how they were able to accept that in the first place. Yeah, makes you wonder. But you know what? The fact that this resurfaced today, it actually doesn't surprise me because the days after winning, people are already sick of him. Look at what this woman has to say. It is crazy.
It's the fact that he's already backtracking. It's the fact that he's already backtracking. Free, 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 free. Oh, but I need your money. I need your money. How are people this gullible? In this day and age of our Lord and Savior and Celine Dion's internet, how are people falling that socialism is going to work? Please name one country where socialism has actually worked. It's the way I will wait, but I'm not gonna hold my breath.
I love that so many people were like, you know what, let's give him a chance. Okay, the system isn't working. How much worse could it get? And now everyone is like, oh, you know what? I think we got played. I think we actually got cooked. People are realizing in real time that they were promised a reality that could just never come into fruition. And it sucks. But this lady is absolutely right. The backtracking is real, it is insane, and many people are gullible because of it. And check this out, because as New York is imploding under its own contradictions, Washington is having a meltdown that is of its own. Okay, Senate Democrats have just blocked a Republican proposal to pay all federal employees during the Democrat-led government shutdown. And Libs of TikTok writes that Democrats will continue to blame Republicans for their own party's failures. 100%. President Trump also made a statement today about John Kennedy's bill that he proposed. He writes on Truth Social saying, "It's so interesting yesterday when our great senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy, introduced a bill in attempt to withhold members of Congress from getting paid. And Rand Paul, lo and behold, who never votes for anything, tried to stop it because he wanted to be paid." In other words, Rand wanted to pay the people who stopped government from working. What's going on with Rand? John Kennedy says it clear as day right here. If we can't do the job, we don't deserve the pay. I've been saying this since the beginning. It's laughable that Congress will choose to rob people from their paychecks, but will not surrender theirs. So this is a very good look for John Kennedy and a very bad look for Rand Paul. I'm not sure if you saw this yesterday. I will play a bit of this video, but here is Senators John Kennedy and Rand Paul laying it out on the table
for the members' consideration. So, starting with my first bill, which would say members of Congress can't be paid and don't get back pay, even after we end the shutdown. That's called the No Shutdown Paychecks to Politicians Act. I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of my bill, that bill, which I just described, which is at the desk. I further ask that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Mr. President, reserving the right to object. I think it's time that instead of closing the government down further, that we begin to open up government. What I will offer is legislation that instead of closing government down further, begins to pay those who are working, pays our soldiers, pays our air traffic controllers, pays everyone who's showing up for work. I think this should become a permanent feature of our government. I think it's disruptive, I think it's unfair, and I think it's wrong that we don't pay the workers that are showing up. But a better way than isolating out different groups and punishing different groups is to actually pay those who are working. And I think we should do this. If we pass this legislation, this would never be a problem again. We're going to run into disagreements in the future. We're going to have times when the government shuts down, but there's no reason that we shouldn't be paying our government workers. So I ask that the senator modify his request so that instead of the Senate proceeding to the immediate consideration of calendar item 191, that S3012, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to consider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Mr. President.
Would the senator modify his request?
I will not, Mr. President, and I'd like to explain.
I understand Rand's position here. I really do. But it does come across a bit selfish and out of touch. And I don't think this is a hot take. Actually, I feel like this is as common as it gets. I shared this on X recently, October 22nd. I wrote, members of Congress should be donating their paychecks to the communities they represent until the shutdown ends. I feel like that makes sense. Okay, it makes so much sense. But again, I feel like the common theme of this video is common sense is just feeling so sacred these days. It makes you feel like you're losing your mind. Last thing I wanted to share was Speaker Mike Johnson, once again, calling out Democrats who are still stonewalling this shutdown. Check it out.
The Democrats will tell you that they're feeling emboldened. They're feeling emboldened because they had a few blue state election results. It does not change the fact that they have walked their party off a cliff with no parachute and no path forward. The reason we're stuck right now is because of one simple fact. If they vote to reopen the government, the Senate Democrats are afraid that the radicals in their party will say that they caved. They're afraid of the retribution that will come from that. But if they keep the government shut down, they know very well, as we all do, that millions of Americans will continue to suffer as essential services remain unfunded and paychecks to federal workers continue to stay stalled. So our question for Democrats this morning is this: which constituency matters more? The loud radicals in your party or the hardworking American people?
It's a great question. Will you be a party that is informed and shaped out of extremism, or informed and shaped by the people that you serve? So is the end near? You know what? I hope so. I am praying for it. The longer that this stretches out, the shutdown, the worse that it will get. And I don't want to see that. So anyways, that is the video. I'd love to know how you feel about Zohran Puerto Rican scandal, him getting humiliated on live TV by Governor Hochul, and Senators John Kennedy and Rand Paul just laying it out for the American people to see. And as always, tell me what you agree with, disagree with, and hey, made it this far, that means you like this video. All right, so like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell, and I will see you all next time. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.